So the last time we made a video about this guy, it was in the Why I Want series, and admittedly, I feel like we haven't covered him as much as we should be. Because when it comes to this prospect, a 2024 eligible 17-year-old 6'1", 165 right-handed center, Aatos Koivu, there's a very, very real reason why we should be talking about him and the Montreal Canadiens. You know, we just made that video a few hours ago of the Habs and the fantastic Finns that could be on their radar in Line A and Capo Caco. Well, this is kind of in a similar vein, and it's even more in a similar vein because, of course, Aatos Koivu, if you know anything about the Montreal Canadiens, you are already seeing the connection. Aatos Koivu is the son of Saku Koivu, and Saku, of course, was a Montreal Canadiens legend. He was the captain in the late 90s, early 2000s. He was fantastic, 70-point guy, just an absolute stud, and an overall superstar for Montreal, whose son is now eligible for this 2024 NHL draft. And the best part is, as we had talked about in the Why I Want video, he actually is projected to being noteworthy. He's ranked 60th overall by Bob McKenzie, 104th by McKean's, 94th by Future Considerations, and he is the 27th European skater as ranked by NHL Central Scouting. Take a look at Koivu and the point production he had. He had 4 games played with the TPS Turku in the Finnish Liga and 0 points, which is okay. I mean, the guy's 17 years old. The fact that he even got playing time in the top league in Finland is noteworthy. But against U20 junior competition, he was over a point per game, 31 points in 28 games, and 7 points in 10 games in the playoffs. He also represented Team Finland at the U18s and in different U18 tournaments. The whatever the heck this is called is the one that comes to mind. Oh, the 5 Nations, that's what it is. I saw 5 NTN Zukwil, and I was like, wait, what does that mean? Yeah, okay, I filled in the blanks afterwards, but Aatos Koivu is in the news today because when it comes to the NHL Draft Combine, there were a few comments that he had made about his father's former captained team in Montreal. And we're heading over to Anthony Martineau's Twitter because he's got the scoop here. Of course, this is in French, but the Google machine helped us out. Aatos Koivu met the Montreal Canadiens here at the Combine. There also was some communication done during the year. He sees himself as a future number 2 center in the NHL. His goal would be to be drafted in the 2nd round, and he compares his own style to that of Sebastian Aho. Now, interestingly enough, if you wanted to talk about Sebastian Aho, yeah, guess what? Aho was a 2nd-round talent as well. Aho was taken in the 35th overall spot by Carolina in 2015, and admittedly, it's a little difficult to try to directly compare the two because Aho had production in the Finnish Liga, 11 points in 27 games played when he was draft eligible. Aatos Koivu did not have much, although, to be fair, Sebastian Aho did have similar U20 junior production than Aatos Koivu had. In fact, let's go out there and use the compare players thing right here on Elite Prospects. Let's go Aatos Koivu, there you go, and then we'll go Sebastian Aho. There you go. That is very easy. Okay, no, please get out of my screen here. EP Rinkside. There you go, Sebastian Aho. Compare these two, and we will see that during their younger years, there actually was a fairly comparable profile here. At age 17, Sebastian Aho had these points in the Finnish Liga, and at age 17, Aatos Koivu had 0 points in the Liga. But the junior production was fairly similar, as we had just talked about. So if you wanted to use that comparable number, that's actually kind of perfect. And I'd say stylistically, there is a good reason to believe that Aatos Koivu does exhibit similar traits. He is a versatile player, could be a top 6 center at best, maybe a middle 6 guy on a good team who can do everything pretty well, who can produce points, who can play well off the puck as well. We had talked about this in more in the Why I Want video if you want to go ahead and check that out. But when it comes to these comments about Montreal, I mean, guess what? There are some extra things here. He talked about his relationship with Saku. I already have my father, my coach with the team. My dad is more focused on his role as a father to me, and we both agree on that. And then Anthony Martineau went out there and tweeted this, that my father told me so many nice things about Montreal. It would be amazing to play there. And of course, because this sentiment was shared out there by Aatos Koivu speaking about how it'd be amazing to play for the Habs, a team that he has confirmed he has met at the Combine and met multiple times with over the course of the year. When this was posted onto the Habs sub, a lot of Canadiens fans started to freak out. Hugo, be a bro. He's projected to go second or third round. Hughes and Gordon could grab him if they wanted to. He was previously projected as a late third or fourth, so I think Hugo had made up their minds to grab him, but now they might need to use Colorado second on him, and it makes things much more complicated. Do what must be done, Lords Hugo. Do not hesitate, use a third. It would almost be poetic to use Minnesota's third-round pick on him, but I think we'll have to use ours or Colorado's second pick to guarantee getting him. I'd be heartbroken if Saku was just bad-mouthing Montreal over dinner. Tom Kostopoulos couldn't score if his life depended on it. Yeah, okay, we're gonna skip over that. That's it, the Habs draft him at 5. No, that's probably not gonna happen. He's not gonna be taken in the top 10, but he'll still be available on the board during some of these other picks, most likely. I mean, if you wanted the refresher here, the Montreal Canadiens, they hold themselves their own 5th overall pick. They have the 26th overall pick from the Sean Monahan trade with Winnipeg. They have the 57th overall pick from the Artturi Lehkonen and Justin Barron trade, and then they've got multiple thirds, their own 70th overall pick, and then the Joel Edmondson 78th overall pick. So if Aatos Koivu goes in the projected 60, 104-ish pick of the draft, then he might be available for the Canadiens to use either a second or a third on him, or if Koivu ends up rising a little bit, squeaking into that top 60 selection, then the Canadiens might need to use their 57th overall pick, and of course, I don't want to say like 57th is the most important pick in the world, but for the entire year, the Habs probably knew they were going to get this range of a draft pick, especially since Artturi Lehkonen was traded 2 years ago. They probably already have some guys that they might have been targeting in this second round spot, so if Aatos Koivu is all of a sudden a guy who rises and takes over the conversation in that territory, who knows if the Montreal Canadiens would be comfortable enough to maybe break the system that they had, assuming Koivu goes up. I mean, he was projected to being somewhere in the 3rd to 4th round the entire year, so this late season surge, especially with the hype of him being Saku Koivu's son, definitely makes things interesting if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan wanting to see this fantastic Finn get drafted by his dad's former captain team. So, if you're a fan of the TPS Turku in the Finnish Liga, let me know your thoughts on the scouting report as to how Aatos Koivu has continued his hockey playing career. What are your thoughts on the way he has progressed and developed, and what are your thoughts on how well he could play in the NHL? If he's projecting himself to being some sort of a future number 2 center, or maybe a third-line center, penalty kill, power play, versatile, all situations kind of guy who plays like Sebastian Aho, I think that's a pretty good bet to take at the end of the second round, early third round, maybe even the mid-third round if you get lucky and he is still there. And of course, it would make me happy as a Montreal Canadiens fan to see the son of Saku Koivu get taken by the Montreal Canadiens. What would that be, like 15 years after Saku left the Habs in the first place? That'd be a great story, wouldn't it be? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Aatos Koivu speaking out about the Montreal Canadiens and how he would like to be playing for this organization, how he'd like to potentially be drafted by them. It'd be amazing to play there, he had said. What are your thoughts on his development and whether or not he could become what the Montreal Canadiens could use? I hope you enjoyed this video. Troll 99, and bye.